Lineup for today's game against the Mariners. DJ LeMahieu is leading off at second base. Aaron Judge hit his 23rd home run of the year yesterday. He is out there in right field. Joey Gallo is out there in left field today. Giancarlo Stanton is your DH this afternoon. Luke Voit back. He is at first base. Anthony Rizzo has been placed on the COVID IL. Welcome back, Luke Voit. Gleyber Torres is your shortstop today. He's up to 248 on the season. Rougned Odor is at third base once again today, filling in for Gio Urshela. Kyle Higashioka is behind the dish once again today. And Jonathan Davis is out there in center field. And on the mound, Luis Gil. He is the Yankees' number 6 overall prospect. He is making his second start in the major leagues. His first start was phenomenal. 6 shutout innings. Let's hope he'll continue to pitch well today. This episode is brought to you by Manscaped, makers of the Lawnmower 4.0 and the Performance Package. A lot of people ask me, how can they support the podcast? And one way that you can do it is by supporting my sponsor, Manscaped. The Lawnmower 4.0. This thing is an amazing little tool. It's got the skin-safe blade. It prevents nicks, tugs, all that uncomfortable stuff. It's got this LED spotlight in case you decide to trim your beanbag during the middle of a blackout. It's waterproof, so you can take it in the shower. And look at this box. This is an amazing box. Nothing shitty has ever come in a box this nice. Wireless, it's rechargeable, it's quiet, and you can save 20% and get free shipping by visiting manscaped.com and using the code NYY Recaps at checkout. That's 20% off and free shipping using the code NYY Recaps. Your balls will thank you.
What are you looking at, butthead?
Well, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and sometimes it rains. As my high school coach used to say, rest in peace. Pardon the sunglasses. I've had a bad headache all day, and the lights are brutal. Yanks drop one with a lifeless offense, and too many men left on base today. 20 men left on base. Shout out to Anthony Rizzo, and happy birthday to Anthony Rizzo. Unfortunately, he was diagnosed with COVID and is on the injured list now. Luke Voit back from the log cabin, and the Yankees were going to the sweep but they don't execute. Once again, the offense just does not get it done. And look, we're coming off of a win streak, so we can't complain too much. Would have been nice to get the sweep. You do lose ground today. Great catch by Jonathan Davis in center field on the first play of the game. Flat outran the baseball. Gil struck out 2 in the first. And look, he is going to be an absolute monster for years to come. Mark my words, if he stays healthy, this guy's going to be an ace-level pitcher. Sloppy defense by the Yankees in the second forced Gil into a bases-loaded one-out jam, but he got out of it with a strikeout and an awesome play over at first by Luke Voit. Kind of dove back into first base to get the runner. Gil picked up 2 more strikeouts in the third. That gave him 6 through 3 innings. Yankees loaded the bases in the bottom half of the inning but didn't score. Gil ended up going 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. No runs allowed now in 11 career innings. First Yankee to do that over 2 starts since 1906. He was better today, in my opinion, than his first outing. He just had to work out of some tough situations, and I liked his poise out there. Note to future historians, this is what can happen when you give a young player a chance. Joey Gallo picked up a great bunt single with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th, and the Yankees leave 2 men on and do not score. Yankees continue to threaten. They put 2 men on in the 6th for DJ LeMahieu, but he strikes out to end the inning. Ridings came in for the top of the 7th, and he threw a few red lightning bolts, and struck out the side. He gave me 2007 Jabba Chamberlain vibes today. Lucas Litke coughed up 2 unearned runs in the top of the 8th, and the Mariners go up 2-0. Judge strikes out looking to end it, and the Yankees fail to capitalize on a great start by Luis Gil. Hey, look, sometimes that's going to happen. Sometimes that's going to happen. Elvis says, I am scared that we might go back to the same old team that's barely over 500 without Rizzo. Thank you for the super dono. Yo, was that Elvis? Look, the offense was lifeless today. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They were just dead. You got to be able to get runners in. And even when they win over the last few days, it's been like big home runs. You had the 3-run home run from Gallo a couple of nights ago. You had the big 2-run home run from Rougned Odor. But they've consistently all year long had this problem with leaving men on base. And I'm convinced it's because they try and hit home runs when you have men on base. I'm convinced that that's what's happening. Good day from Gleyber Torres today. He picked up 3 hits. He looked more comfortable at the plate. And again, Steven Ridings is an absolute unit out there. Seawag with a super dono. What is it about this team and not closing out sweeps in Sunday games? Mentally weak, lack of player leadership, or lack of leadership from Boone? You know, I just think it's hard to sweep. And the Yankees just, I don't know if they have the offense to play consistently for 3 days. You know, even with Gallo in there today, you're still heavily right-handed. And Odor really hasn't been as dangerous lately, despite the home run yesterday, as he was about a week ago. And Voit usually takes about a week or two to get back into the swing of things when he comes back off of an injured list trip. So I wasn't expecting him to do much today, especially since he was supposed to continue to rehab. He was scratched last night, so I don't think he's 100% ready timing-wise. So, you know, just not a good day for the Yankees offense. And as far as the sweeps go, look, it's tough. It's tough. Other teams don't seem to have as big a problem with it, but, you know, I'm not sure what the problem is. I'm just going to chalk it up to a bad offense. Corey Melito says, this game sucked. I agree.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, the worst kind of game is when the Yankees get shut out. There was a stretch there for, I don't know, maybe like a year or two where the Yankees didn't get shut out, and it was awesome. But I feel like they've been shut out 3 or 4 or 5 times this year already. They've had a number of games where they score like 1 or 2 runs. They had a stretch for like almost a month, if not more, where they didn't score more than maybe 4 or 5 runs. It was rough. And we just got to get used to it. This is not a great offensive team. You're going to have to make some tweaks in the offseason. And, you know, hopefully when Rizzo comes back, you know, he can provide that spark again. But we don't know when he's going to be back. I think, just to talk about Rizzo for a second, he's a contact hitter. I know he's known for having power. We see the 450-foot home runs, but he's up there. He chokes up on the bat just like Gallo does. Gallo doesn't hit for contact, but, you know, he chokes up to have control of the bat. And he uses the left side of the field. He'll poke one up the middle. He's a contact guy. And the Yankees genuinely don't have a ton of contact hitters right now. DJ LeMahieu was supposed to be a contact guy, but he just hasn't been that guy this year. He had a couple hits yesterday. Board Rican Veteran says, Voit is swinging like a guy fighting for a roster spot. He needs to stay within himself. Puerto Rico. Oh. So Luke Voit swings with bad intentions every single time. Every single time. And some guys do that, right? I mean, Gallo kind of does it too. But Gallo bunted for a hit today. Gleyber typically swings with bad intentions most of the time. We've seen him cut down a little bit lately because his big swings are resulting in more pop-ups. Giancarlo typically swings with bad intentions most of the time. It's just something that the Yankees do. I just worry that Luke Voit is going to hurt himself because the way he swings, it looks like it's tough on the oblique areas. It's tough on the knees. He's such a massive guy, and he really drives through the baseball. You watch when he swings and misses, he hammers his back with the bat. Like, he really wraps it around. And you notice he doesn't go running towards first base like we talked about yesterday or day before with Gleyber Torres. He drives everything forward through the ball. Lori C says, Mets had a worse day than we did from first place to third place.
Begin auto-destruct sequence. Authorization Picard 47 Alpha Tango.
Ramon Vlog says Kyle Seager is so annoying. Yeah, he killed the Yankees in the series. He's just a tough out. Just a tough out. Francis says, don't forget Sanchez. Yeah, we're without Sanchez right now. We've had too many guys just go down from this COVID thing. I believe if we had everybody healthy, we would have probably swept today. You know, that's just the way I feel. But I do want to talk about Luis Gil for a second because the man put on a show. Even though the Yankees lost, Luis Gil really, really put in an outstanding day of work. 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 8 strikeouts. Not many signs of the control issues that we heard about coming up through the minor leagues. You know, there was all this talk when he was, coming up that he doesn't have command. He's got a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, but he doesn't know where it's going. I see a guy who pounds the strike zone. He doesn't have great command. You know, he misses arm side quite a bit, but his mechanics are crisp. I mean, they're clean. They're directly towards home plate. So I think it's just going to be a matter of a consistent release point on all of his pitches, which comes from reps, by the way. I really think that Luis Gil is going to become a good control pitcher, and I think he's going to become an outstanding pitcher for years. 4 years. Now, you may pull this up next year when he's 2-10 with a 6 ERA and say, Derek, I told you so. But right now, if I had to bet one way or the other, I would say that Luis Gil is going to be a dominant starter for this team for quite a while. Quite a while. Mark Stenroos says, I'm still calling low balls as strikes against Judge. It is a big deal. I agree with you on that one.
Yes, I agree.
But there's not really much you can do about it. That's the human aspect of baseball, the human element of the game, as they say. I think the human element of the game is overrated. I'd rather have the calls be right. I think we should institute robotic umps as soon as possible. Where else in the world do you have the opportunity to use technology and decide to forego it? Right? You know, I have a dog. I have 2 dogs, actually. And they're really good guard dogs. They go absolutely berserk if somebody comes up to the front door, the back door, whatever. But it doesn't mean you forego an alarm system. Technology is important. Utilize it to your advantage. And I get you'll put the umpires out of work. Let them play the field. We still need field umpires. Just get rid of the home plate umpire. You'll save a little bit of money, too. E says Judge was looking for a fastball and got K'd. Yeah, so he was definitely caught looking. That's a bad way to end a game. It's a bad way to end a series. It's an even worse way to end a playoff series. Who remembers Carlos Beltran? I want to say it was 2000, maybe 2007 with the Mets. I could be wrong on the date. He took a breaking ball from a member of the Cardinals, maybe Adam Wainwright, for a strike right down the middle. I mean, it was a hammer, but he took it looking to end a playoff series. Jose A says, Judge is not as clutch as Jeter was. I mean, you're not wrong. Jeter was pretty clutch. Judge seems to be a pretty good playoff performer, but during the regular season, he hasn't impressed me that much in the clutch situations. I'm just going to go ahead and say. I'm just going to go ahead and agree. Boston loses, according to Kyle Shine. I don't have the scores pulled up there, but that's good. But the Rays apparently won, so the Yankees do continue to pull away in the East. We're not going to post any mods. So we got a super chat. I want to thank you for the super chat. But mods, if we're not going to post any kind of COVID stuff in the chat, just put people on timeout if they do that, because we don't want to spread misinformation at all. So appreciate the dono, but we're not going to put that message on screen. Antonio Sanchez says, we need Nick Swisher. Why was Swisher our representative at the draft? So he works for the Yankees in like a helper capacity, like a representative. Tino was the representative a few years ago. And I think it's just kind of like when we need somebody to be the public face of the Yankees. He was there as like a puppet, a recognizable face. He's not the one drafting players. There's a room full of nerds that are drafting players. Brian Cashman makes the final call, probably. Damon Oppenheimer makes the final recommendations. and then they call Nick Swisher and say, go say this person's name. That's how that works, I think. And Nick Swisher's a fun personality. He's a recognizable guy. That's why he was the representative. A few years back, it was Tino Martinez because he's a recognizable guy. Someday it'll be Aaron Judge, you know? Let's see. Jaden Sanchez says, I'm so tired of these guys looking at pitches down the middle and swinging at pitches in the dirt. So after the game, when the Yankees have a bad day like this, Aaron Boone will always say something along the lines of, well, I thought we had good at-bats. I thought our guys stayed within themselves. And what he's talking about is, you know, the way they approach the strike zone. Do you remember the Savages in the box comment, the one that made John Boy famous? That comment was a reference to how well the Yankees hitters at the time recognized the strike zone. And the intention of these hitters is to go up there and look for a specific zone, probably a specific pitch in a specific zone, and try and hit that pitch. But the problem is if you don't get it, it's tough to hit with 2 strikes. You know, you got to pretty much guess and get back into contact mode. I would prefer somebody went up there thinking see ball, hit ball, right? That's what Anthony Rizzo does. That's why I want to keep him the hell away from Marcus Timms. See ball, hit ball. That's what Miguel Andujar does. He's not up there trying to walk. That's that old saying, you can't walk your way out of the Dominican Republic. You have to hit your way out. That's kind of what, that's the approach I like. And I know you don't walk as much that way, and I'm okay with that. Walks are boring. I'm here to watch action. I'd rather see, you know, a couple of hard lineouts, you know, than a strikeout in the dirt. You know, hit early in the count, get a good pitch to hit, get a good strike, and put an aggressive swing on it. Word Lifer says, swisha sweets. Loyal Godermote says, we've lost our team to injuries the past 3 years. This year, it's not necessarily as many injuries as it is the COVID thing. The COVID thing has really taken this team by storm. And it's hard to prevent. Otherwise, everybody would prevent it, especially in a room full of men who are around each other in close quarters. You know, it can be tough. That's pretty much all I got to say about that. It's the COVID thing has really hurt us this year. Disgruntled YouTuber says Rizzo got thamified already. And Arianda XD says Timms 100% needs to be fired. Sean Browning says fire Timms. So look, Marcus Timms has been able to skate under the radar for the past few days because the Yankees have won. Gallo hit the big home run. Yesterday it was Odor hit a one-handed home run. Judge went deep. But for the most part, this team has not been scoring a lot of runs. Even with the additions of Gallo and Rizzo, the team has not been scoring many runs. I think you have to take a look at whatever hitting philosophy Marcus Timms is preaching. The Yankees may not get rid of Marcus Timms. I think they should. I think they should look for somebody else. But I really think that bringing in a different person and keeping the same philosophy won't really change things. You've got to look at a different philosophy. You've got to examine what's causing this current philosophy to fail. And it might be that the philosophy they're using is just too hard to execute for these players. That could be a reason. You know, maybe whatever he's teaching is hard to execute in games. That's just my opinion, my hypothesis. But it seems like a lot of people are ready for Timms to go. Corey Melito says, awesome job, Yankees, 0 for 11 in scoring position today. Let's see. E says, wow, Toronto beat the the Red Sox. Scary offense. Yeah, Toronto can hit the ball. And they've gotten better since Springer's come back. Ray Rard says, teams were both shooting at the short porch. You're not wrong. That's not a bad thing to do. You know? The Lance Vance Dan says, if you get rid of Timms, who exactly are you going to replace him with? I mean, that's a good question. There's a million hitting coaches out there. I think you got to replace the philosophy, not just the man teaching it. I think you need to replace Timms too, because he's obviously not getting through to the players. But you need to straighten out whatever the philosophy is that is causing this team to struggle so much when they get men on base. Kyle Shine says Paul O'Neill should be hitting coach. That I can get behind. I could get behind that too. I don't think he wants the job, though. He seems pretty happy with Neville out there in Studio 21. Let's see. Knickerbocker says Timms has no idea what he's doing. Well, I mean, I don't want to go that far. I mean, the guy's a major league hitting coach. But I will say this. It took him a long time, and I don't even know if it's complete yet, to fix Gleyber Torres. Just watching on the broadcast, I can see that Gleyber Torres is having bad swings. I can tell from his foul balls. Just from watching baseball all these years, when somebody fouls off a ball, they don't run towards the opposite dugout. That tells me he's off balance. And I just feel like it's taken too long to fix these things. So, I'm all aboard the fire Timms bandwagon, but I agree with whoever said, who are you going to replace him with? I think you need to replace the philosophy. Brent Dewurst says it's time for evolution, not revolution. I don't know what the hell that means. Rich Rucci says, good call on bringing in Willie Randolph. I love Willie Randolph. I think he's great. Scott Fisher says, Mark McGuire for hitting coach, maybe as supplement coordinator. TJ Obermeyer says, in my opinion, the main problems under Timms, in addition to terrible and inconsistent approaches at the plate, the Yankees have had too long of swings. They do have very long swings. I mean, if you look at it, everybody's loading up to try and crush the baseball most of the time on most of their swings. I've always preferred a short, compact swing. That's actually why I like smaller hitters. Guys like Anthony Volpe really, really impress me. Short guys who have a small strike zone and use their leverage to really drive the baseball. I love it. Willie Robinson says, I can be the hitting coach. I think you could probably do as well as Marcus Timms has done, and I know absolutely nothing for you, Willie Robinson. By the way, Dono hype. I forgot to dono for TJ. Navanka says something. I didn't see the... I'm not sure what Navanka posted here. Apparently he posted a super chat. Sean Browning says, should we replace the whole analytics department? Well, I don't know. I don't even know who's in the analytics department. I just want them to change up their hitting philosophy. That's pretty much all I'm advocating for. Anyway, I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my Sunday. Tip of the cap to you guys. Yankees win 2 out of 3. They fall today, though. Tough one, 2-0. I will see you tomorrow. Special shout out to the Patreon supporters and anyone else who has supported this channel. If you enjoyed this video, give it the old thumbs up and subscribe for more Yankees content year-round. If you really enjoyed it, check out the Frieze. It's the official podcast of this channel. Or pick up some swag from the Teespring store, link in the description. Thanks for watching.